everyone. Brian Stratton here in the Syracuse Regional Office of the Canal Corporation, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to meeting number 118 of the New York Canal Recreationway Commission. While today's meeting is completely virtual, I am chairing from our Canal Regional Office in Syracuse, joined by Jackie Schillinger, Ambrose Barbudo, Becky Blanchard, and other support teams here in the Syracuse office. Our thanks to the commissioners who are joining with us and who will join with us virtually so far. And that includes Steve Iacchetta, Mayor Fra Patorti, that's who I see so far from our CRC commissioners. We are also joined by our trustee, B. Gonzalez. Thank you, trustee, for joining with us today. And we're waiting. We have resent the link to a couple of I see the Erie Canal Museum is there. That must be Natalie. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, sorry.
We can see you. Very good. We can see you. And I think, Kim, we have 3 commissioners. Does that constitute a quorum, or do we have to get to 4?
I believe we need one more. So Natalie is in, and I don't see Cal yet.
Cal said she is in, but cannot participate.
Okay, we have 4. All right, my bad. I'm sorry, Doug. We have Doug Cole. We are waiting on Michelle Bernard. And I think so. We have Fra Patorti. We're also waiting on Cal. So we're waiting on Michelle Bernard and Cal. The links have been reset, but we have a quorum. I'm not going to go through and introduce everybody, but we have agency representatives with us. Fred Vaughn is with us from the New York State Parks Department. Thank you, Fred. Paul Byer is scheduled to be with us from the Department of State. And that's who we have from the agencies. Richard Sutherland is with us, or scheduled to be with us, from the Greater Finger Lakes Regional Planning Commission. And then we have other staff members on board who are going to be giving presentations while we proceed. We have a quorum, and excuse me while I turn the page. We will call to order officially meeting number 118, and there is Commissioner Michelle Bernard. Thank you, Michelle, for being with us. So our first action item, as always, is the approval from the minutes. Our last meeting, meeting number 3, or meeting number 117, which was held on October 17th, 2024 at the New York Power Authority Energy Zone in Utica. So if the commissioners have had the opportunity to receive and review the minutes, I will entertain a motion to move the minutes. You can unmute and you can move someone.
Second.
So move.
Okay,
Second.
moved
Second.
Michelle Bernard and second by Steve Iacchetta. Okay, we will. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion on the minutes from the last meeting. Any changes? Any discussion? Any comments? Seeing none, they've been moved and seconded. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as written, say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Okay, moved and accepted. We have 2 real property agenda items today going forward. With us from our real property division is Jessica Foote. Is Jessica on yet, Kim and or Rebecca?
I don't.
No,
think so.
she's not in yet,
waiting
Brian.
for the link. And is it Joe Rivera helping from IT?
Jessica has raised her hand, it says on our chat. So
Okay.
Maybe she's in, but I don't know. I don't
No. Jessica's not in yet, Brian.
Okay.
And yeah, and a lot of the agency representatives are emailing, and they can't get in either. So I'm emailing Joe offline.
We have the agency CEO with us. I think she's on. We could skip over the property items and go to the CRC.
Can you guys hear me now?
Ah, there's Jessica.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties, but I'm here now.
Very good, Jessica. Thank you so much. We are happy to have you with us, our real canals, real property specialist. We have two items. And Jessica, I'm gonna introduce the first item and then you can take it away. We're gonna do the one that we're gonna go from west to east. So the first item, as we did the other day with our real property members, is the proposed abandonment of approximately 1 acre of a 1 acre easement over canal land located in the city of North Tonawanda, Niagara County. Jessica, take us through this one.
Hey, Director. Hello, everyone. Today we will be discussing two proposed abandonments for the Commission's consideration. I actually have the slideshow starting from the east. So we're going to start with the request for abandonment for an easement in the town of Schuyler. And then we will do the request for the easement in the city of North Tonawanda. Next slide, please. So our first request is for an approximately 2.5 mile long easement located in the town of Schuyler, Herkimer County. The easement is for ingress, egress, and regress and will afford the adjacent landowner access to their lands for the purpose of inspection, construction, and maintenance of wetlands. The easement is located near Lock E19. The easement will not adversely affect the operation and maintenance of the canal system. The Canal Corporation has had a long-standing relationship with the applicant and is in the process of acquiring a small parcel needed for the expansion of one of our upland disposal sites. Next slide, please. The easement consists of a 15-foot wide gravel driveway. The parcel is bounded on the north by the Erie Canal, the east and west by additional state land under the jurisdiction of the Canal Corporation, and on the south by private property. Based on visual inspection, there are no environmental concerns associated with the requested easement. Granting the access easement will have no impact on the Canalway Trail. Next slide, please. And here are some photos showing the easement area. Are there any questions about this item?
Okay, I apologize, we went east to west, we did west to east when we reviewed these earlier in the week, but these are east.
Sorry about that.
Not actually property transactions, so we are granting the individual name in the transaction and easement to the property, so. Steve Iacchetta and Ken DeRoller reviewed these items with us earlier in the week, but do other commissioners have questions or comments on them? Commissioner Cole?
Yes. I was wondering if there's anything in the easement agreement where the wetland trust would have to make repairs to the gravel road?
That isn't in the plans. We're expecting them to only use it maybe 4 times a year, with like a regular car or truck. So there won't be any heavy equipment going
Okay.
over the easement.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Good. Any other comments or questions on this particular item? Commissioner Iacchetta, you're still okay with this, right?
Absolutely, I would make a motion.
Very good.
Adoption.
Okay. It's been moved. We have a second.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Iacchetta, seconded by Commissioner Bernard, moved and seconded. Any more discussion on the item? If not, all those in favor of adopting this say aye.
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 And we have Al Wysokowski appearing with Rebecca Hughes's name underneath her.
Aye.
You know.
Can
Well,
you hear me?
Whatever it takes to get you here, Cal, that's great.
Thank you. My name's Rebecca. I say aye.
All right, for the record, please note that Commissioner Wysokowski is also voted in the affirmative. Okay, Jessica, let's go on to the second item, which I have already announced in North Tonawanda. Go ahead.
Thank you, Director. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. The second abandonment request located in the Western region is for an approximately 1 acre easement located in the city of North Tonawanda, Niagara County. This easement will not adversely affect the operation and maintenance of the canal system. Next slide, please. The easement has been requested by the city of North Tonawanda to connect and extend the bike path along Sweeney Street. The city is using federal funding for the bike path, and use of these funds requires the city to have a property interest in the land being used. The easement area is made up of two non-contiguous parcels east of Sweeney Street, between Myers Park to the south and the Botanical Gardens to the north. The parcels are bounded on the west by Sweeney Street. Parcel 1, shown here, is bounded on the east by the Botanical Gardens. Can I have the next slide, please? And parcel 2, shown here, is bounded on the east by the Erie Canal. The parcels are accessible through connections to the bike path currently maintained by the city. Based on visual inspection, there are no environmental concerns associated with the requested parcels. The request is made up of numerous Blue Line Canal parcels appropriated during the Barge Canal improvement. The requested easement is located near a residential district. The conveyance of this easement will have no impact on the Canalway Trail. Next slide, please. And here are a couple of pictures showing parcel 1, showing the property via Google Street View looking north and south. Next slide, please. And here are some photos of parcel 2 showing the property via Google Street View looking east and south. Are there any questions about this item?
Okay, beautiful area out in our western section along the Canalway Trail. Again, this is another easement. It's not a property transfer. It's been reviewed by the members of our property committee earlier in the week. Can we have a motion to move this before we proceed? A motion and a second before we proceed to discussion.
Property, so moved.
Property, Commissioner Fitzgerald moves. Do we have a second?
Second, Steve Iacetta.
Okay, second, Steve Iacetta. Saw that Doug Cole was a distant third, but thank you, Doug. So it's been moved to second. Discussion, questions on the items, and welcome to Commissioner Ken DeRoller, also appearing under Rebecca Hughes' name. So thank you, Rebecca, for getting all of our commissioners on board now. We have a full complement. Any discussion on this item?
So this is Cal. I don't have a discussion. I have a comment, and I apologize that I missed the first part of this description. But what helped me understand these parcels, I think Commissioner Iacetta said it the best. They help create linkages and connections, and I think that's really important. And so that's my comment. I support this. And that really helped me make my decision. So thank you, Commissioner Iacetta.
Pleasure, Cal. Thank you. Yeah, linkage is important.
Yes.
Very good. Any other comments, questions on the item? It has been moved, it has been seconded. We will proceed to a vote. All those in favor in adopting this easement change, say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. It is unanimous. It passes, and we are done. Jessica, thank you very much for those wonderful property items. We look forward to more property items coming in the new year. Let's move on now to our next item on the agenda, and that is an update of our CRC 2050 plan, which has reached its nearly 100% level. And I'm going to go back to Commissioner Cal Wysokowski and Capital Planning Manager for Reimagine the Canals, Justine Heilner, to tee this up and to introduce our friends and associates from the agency to take us through the update. Cal?
Okay, thank you. Last time we met in Utica, we reviewed the 90% plan. And here we are in December with the final draft. I hope that you all have had a chance to take a look at this. I'm going to turn it over to Justine very quickly. But I think we're there. I really do. I think this is an incredible amount of work. And let's listen to the presentation, and then afterwards, the goal is for us CRC members to vote on this and discuss it. So with no further ado, Justine.
Yeah, I just wanted to say myself and Paul Glesta, who did make it into the Zoom after we started. Thank you everyone for working so hard on this over the last year. And thank you especially to the agency team. Matt and Rhiannon are here to present the final plan. And it's just been a pleasure and a great opportunity to connect with so many communities over the last year. So Matt, Rhiannon?
Thank you, Justine. And I think as we dig into this, I also want to acknowledge that a huge shout out and thank you goes to Justine and Paul for all of their guidance and leadership, and Rebecca for her guidance and leadership, Shane for his amazing work, and the CRC team for guiding us through this process. We couldn't have done it without this amazing village that has helped to assemble this really important document. And it goes without saying that, you know, a big reason why we are on time with this project, that we are delivering this in December, is because of the amazing management by Paul and Justine. So thank you so much to them for guiding us through this. So I think if we go on to the next slide, I can share a brief introduction. We plan to walk through that 100% report with you all, share a little bit more again about the plan, recenter ourselves around what the kind of scope of this work was, how we went about conversations with you all, with the broader public, with important stakeholders. And then we want to revisit the vision and guiding principles that we had shared with you last time, and showcase a little bit of how we've changed that vision, those guiding principles to reflect your feedback. And then we'll walk through some of the key strategies and actions from the plan. We are not going to go through it comprehensively. That could take us all afternoon. But we want to give you a brief highlight of what those included, and then talk about next steps. As Cal mentioned, we'd love to for you all to vote on this and let us know what you're thinking. So on the next slide. The 2050 plan is the Canal Recreationway plan. It's meant to be a guiding document that introduces a vision for the future of the canal system. And so we, in the conversations with you all and in early discussions about the goals for this plan, we talked about the idea that this needs to be a framework that is shared by you, shared by the various stakeholders that engage with the canals on a daily basis, and then also the variety of diverse partners that you engage with every day. So as we're getting close to that bicentennial in 2025, just a month away, this plan is really considering what the third century of this system's operation will be. And so my colleague Matt is going to walk through a little bit more of that process, that engagement, and he'll share that roadmap for the future.
Next slide, please. Thanks, Rhiannon, and thank you to all the commissioners and everyone here and watching online. Just to provide a little bit of an overview, we've discussed this in previous commission meetings, but the planning process for this effort took the course of this year in 4 distinct phases, the first of which was from January to April, where the planning team really went out to listen and learn from the folks who work and live by the canals. We took guided tours of key sites along the system. We had one-on-one conversations with stakeholders and staff, with the lock tenders, with the local leaders who are all deeply invested and involved in the care and operation of the system. And of course, we also reviewed past plans and concurrent efforts to make sure that we're aligned and supporting all that is also going on within the Canal Corporation and with the Canal Recreationway Commission. In phase 2, we looked forward. We looked at envisioning a potential future for the system. We conducted public workshops, which I'll speak a little bit more about in a moment. We convened topical focus groups with subject matter experts external to the CRC and the Canal Corporation to understand and implement best practices from around the country. And all of this culminated in the development of a series of potential future scenarios that were meant to provide an expansive view of the possibilities for the system, which is what we presented a few months ago in the last Recreationway Commission meeting. And here we are today with a more refined future strategy, a singular vision deeply informed by the feedback from you all and from the public. And with that comes a set of goals, strategies, and actions that all of the stakeholders might collaborate on to implement that vision. And again, in December, here we are today, delivering this refined set of recommendations, goals, and actions in service of this unified vision. Next slide, please. So of course, to get here, as Rhiannon said, it took a lot of engagement, alignment, conversation, and discussion, both internally and externally to the Canal Corporation and the Recreationway Commission. Internally, as I said, we were led on site tours by engineers, lock tenders, others who work on the system. We had conversations with staff in various offices across the system who oversee various aspects of the system's management and operations, and convened focus groups to understand all of the hard work that goes into keeping the system operational for the past 2 centuries and what it might mean to continue that into the future. Externally, we brought people together in public workshops, both in person and virtually. We had over 200 participants, and we're deeply grateful for the thoughts and insights that they shared with us. We attended events along the canal system, from the Taste of Wayne County in Newark to the Oswego Canal Fest and the State Fair in Syracuse, among others. And that was to meet folks where they are, to understand what they're enjoying and what could be improved, and what their hopes and aspirations are for the system. And of course, we hosted an online website where folks could check in on the progress of this planning effort and submit answers to an online survey, of which we've received over 250. Next slide, please. So the vision on which we've aligned, deeply informed again by your thoughtful feedback and the growth of the system over the past 2 centuries, is that we see and hope that the system can remain and grow into a vibrant through line of canals, parks, and trails for New York State. We understand this to build on the strong foundation laid in the very first Canal Recreationway plan in 1995, which set out a vision of moving the system from an industrial active waterway into a recreational and recreation way. And we see this as helping take that next step from a linear recreation way to a more complete network of waterways, parks, and trails that serve all of the communities along its length. And in doing so, provide ecological, economic, and cultural benefits, in addition to all of the wonderful recreational amenities that New Yorkers have come to love and expect on the system. In many ways, the understanding of parks and recreation has changed over the past 30 years, and we see this as a natural evolution, not a break from that recreation way vision, updating it to a more contemporary understanding of what these spaces can be and do for the people who make use of them. Next slide, please. To enact this vision and to guide the actions of all of the stakeholders who have an interest in that system, we also assembled a set of guiding principles that we think represent the attitudes and approaches that all should take in approaching this vision. So the first is the importance for caring for the system's expansive infrastructure. Of course, that is the physical infrastructure of locks and dams, the things that leave us all in awe and have stood for centuries. But that also means the green spaces, the trails, the social and cultural infrastructure along the system. We know that the system needs to convene both local residents and visitors. It is both the backyard of New Yorkers and a welcome gateway to the world for folks who are coming to visit and getting to know the system themselves. It should connect, again, New York to the world. It should introduce folks who may not otherwise be familiar with the state and the waterway to its rich history and diverse geography. It should commemorate history and culture in all of its forms, celebrating the many different stories, perspectives, and experiences that have come with the development and continued operation of the system. It will catalyze the local revitalization of canal communities, helping them make the most of what many call their blue main streets. It will champion quality of life and inclusivity for all users, making sure that anyone who can and wants to will enjoy and reap the rewards of such a beautiful natural system. And finally, it will cultivate upstate's ecoregions and natural systems to make sure that it is strengthening and supporting all of the landscapes, habitats, and geographies that it flows through. So within each of these guiding principles, as you'll see in the coming slides, we've developed a set of strategies and actions. These are recommended and possible goals, investments, programs, and projects that we think the many stakeholders could come together to collaborate on in the furtherance of this vision. Next slide, please. So first, with the aim of caring for the system's expansive infrastructure, as I just mentioned, there are, of course, investments that should be made in sustainably modernizing the canal, of course, all while deeply respecting the historic character and rich legacy of engineering that has come to build the system in the way that it is today. We understand there's a need to develop these maintenance and design guidelines for all landscape and facility types. The richness of the system means that there are such different places all along it, and we want to make sure that it is appropriately cared for and maintained in all of its different aspects. Next slide, please. In convening local residents and visitors, we see a strong need to continue to unify and improve the wayfinding and interpretive materials to highlight all of the wonderful amenities that exist along the canals, to convene folks and point them in the right direction, to welcome them into the canal communities, not just along the trails. We want to recognize and support and strengthen all of the local volunteer engagement and leadership and effort that is being put in by the canal communities, which is undeniably invaluable and commendable. Next slide, please. In connecting upstate to the world, we want to understand how the canalway trails can be continually maintained, completed in sections that may still be on road, and potentially expanded along the system's other canals that may not have a trail at the moment. We also understand that there's a real need, as the Canal Corporation and CRC are already pursuing, to grow the recognition of the system both locally and globally. Next slide, please. And again, this system is an undeniable part of this country and region's history. And so doing justice to that and telling the different stories that have made up that history is crucial to a rich and vibrant future for the system. That means sharing the story and the histories of the canal with intentionality about who tells those stories, who the audiences are, and how they're being reached. We know that much effort has already been put into this, and we're excited to see it grow. Next slide, please. Again, with the aim of catalyzing revitalization in canal communities, we understand that there's a deep collaboration and partnership that the CRC and Canal Corporation have with these canal communities, with local mayors, leaders, towns, villages, to enhance and maintain public spaces along the canal, to connect the richness of the canalway trails and the waterways to the downtowns and main streets of these communities. And where possible, to understand the way that canal side land could support emerging industries or industry through commercial shipping. Next slide, please. Again, the importance of quality of life and inclusivity cannot be overstated. There's been tremendous strides in increasing the accessibility and advancing the understanding of what that means in different canal communities and within the Canal Corporation and the operations themselves. We hope to see that continue and hope that there's a commitment to making this level of accessibility the standard across the system rather than the exception. We also understand that there's a deep need to prioritize youth programming and attracting younger folks to the canal to grow the next generation of canal enthusiasts. Next slide, please. And finally, with the aim of cultivating the ecoregions and natural systems that the canals run through, we believe it's deeply important to coordinate across the state agencies, and it's been incredibly impressive to see how many different aspects of the state and how many different initiatives the canals have relevance to. And it's great to see that the different agency folks and representation is here today. And of course, that effort is to manage the water in the system, the aquatic invasive species, the habitats, and all of the rich biodiversity that currently exists or could exist along the system. So as Rhiannon said, this was a quick overview of some of the suggested strategies and actions. There's much more for you all to read through, dive into, and spend time with, and we really hope you do. But with that, we will leave it today and open up for questions and discussion. Next slide, please. And I just wanted to say, looking ahead, the primary next steps that should be on all of our radars is that the Canal Recreationway Plan will, at some point, continue to review and eventually formally adopt the plan. Should all be looked over and approved by the commissioners. And then finally, in the new year, as Rhiannon said, with the bicentennial coming up and in conjunction with the celebrations that have been planned and the upcoming World Canals Conference hosted in Buffalo and on the system, we hope the plan can be publicized, celebrated, and shared widely. Next slide, please. And to echo all of the sentiments that have already been said, we wanted to offer again a deep thank you and sincere thank you to the Recreationway Commission, the Canal Corporation, and all of the New Yorkers that attended events, submitted insights, comments, experiences, and shared all of the wonderful reasons that they love the system and hope to see it continue to succeed. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm muted or not. I'm good. Yep. Okay, very good. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Rhiannon. I just want to also acknowledge Paul Glesta. Sorry, Paul, for not introducing you. So this is a wonderful plan. I've had the opportunity to look it over. I think the agency has done incredible work, and certainly led by Cal and Rebecca and Shane and Jackie and others who are public engagement team who have led this forward. We have questions or comments from the commissioners.
This is Ken DeRoller. I concur with your statements, Director. Well done. On schedule. I like the task, the way it's laid out. I just have one question. We talked about hydropower allocation without impeding upon the overall strategy and elements of the canal system, but does that fit into your strategy?
Thank you for your question, Commissioner. There is mention of hydropower in some of the recommendations and strategies that we provided, though it's not a primary point of focus in our discussions with some of the staff who advise us that a lot of the hydropower on the system, as we understand it, is not directly under the control of the Canal Corporation and is not the primary focus of a lot of the operations of the Recreationway. Again, this being the Recreationway plan was primarily focused on the proliferation and growth of the system for recreation with these other operations in support of that. So it is in there lightly, but it is not a primary focus of the strategies and recommendations we outlined.
That's a great reply. I appreciate it. It should not be a primary focus. Well done. Thank you.
And I also must say it's great work. Excellent. You guys did a super job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say that they were just a great team to work with, and they listened and responded and made changes and carried on, and they've done great work. So I'm sorry, Cal, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nope, I was muted. And now I'm not muted, so that's fine. No, my request was to have each commissioner make a statement about the plan. And so far, some of us have done that, but I wanted to hear from each commissioner before we vote on this, on accepting this plan and moving it forward. So we heard from Michelle, but I'd like to hear from Natalie and Ken and Steve before we vote.
Natalie said in the chat she got called away with a sick kid phone call, so she apologized, but I can read what she said. She said she was very happy to have worked with agency on the plan, and she thinks it's an impressive document that will hopefully help us accomplish great things in the next 25 years.
Okay, thank you. And Doug, I see you now.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, as a professional engineer, I like that taking care of the system's expansive infrastructure was a high priority. And I've said it before that, without the infrastructure, you don't have everything that comes along with it. And again, I read through the whole document and I was very impressed.
Thank you. And on page 8, there's a word that's misspelled, so we'll have to get that. We'll have to get that fixed. That means you read it all.
We're keeping
Yes.
track. We're keeping track of those, Cal, so that before we go public, we've all had eyes on it. So all those little tiny things we can catch.
That's great. Commissioner Iacchetta, are you with us? Are you able to speak? No?
I think he's muted. Steve, you're muted.
Unmute yourself, Steve.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, we can come back to Steve. How about Fra? Are you, I know that you spoke earlier. Any other comments?
No, I think it's just a super job. I said, last week working with different agencies and everybody is so dedicated to their job. It's just amazing. So thank you very much for this work that was done on this. And I support it 100%.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Fran. I think I unmuted it. Can you hear me now?
Okay, good. There he is.
Thanks so much. I apologize. Working through an iPhone. I've got the laptop with the plan out in front. I just wanted to say, I believe our founders of the commission back in the 90s would be proud of our collaborative effort and the excellent work of the corporation staff and the agency consultants with their statewide collaboration and clear vision for the future. I'm now retired planner, and I know this is a priceless, at least $1 million document done for a very small fraction of that. Having been involved with many other master plans previously, I think we're doing well, and our founders would be proud. And so onward and upward, and we look forward to promoting all the linkages and addressing opportunities and challenges well with this as our new updated guide. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Steve. I concur. I am extremely pleased with the plan and the way it evolved and the outreach. Forever grateful to the CRC commissioners and Rebecca and Shane, Justine, Paul, Angelin, and Brian, Rhiannon and Matt. You helped so much guide this, and very, very proud of this work. And I look forward to the next steps. Are there any other comments from folks before, as commissioners, we're gonna vote? Anybody else want to say anything at this point?
Cal Kendall, I'm in favor of this document as a prior planner. It's really refreshing to see this consultant team. I've spent some time in their space. They were in Orleans County and other counties, of course, but they really were dedicated, on task, on time. Everything looks fantastic. So thank you.
That's excellent, Ken. Thank you.
I don't know if you want to ask our trustee if she would care to comment.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, B, are you there?
I'm here. I'm really excited to see the plan and all of the components of the plan. It's clear that agency listens well. And that's really important. I'm excited about the collaborations across agencies and across communities, right? Because together is better. Together we're better, and I think that that is reflected in this plan. So yeah, I'm really happy to see it. So thank you.
Trustee, Cal, I wonder whether or not Rebecca can give us an update on what, after we vote on this, after the commission votes on it, what are the next steps?
Sure. Rebecca, are you able to speak to that? I can do that, or please chime in.
I'll chime in more generally, and then Cal, I'll let you articulate next steps as kind of one of the working group chairs who led the report. Echoing what everyone said, it's just a culmination of hundreds and hundreds of hours of work that's represented here. And to me, what stands out is really how monumental the establishment of the CRC has been in terms of canal history. So, enacted back in 1992, bringing that first really visionary report to life, and marking that transition from industrial waterway to recreation way. This report builds on top of that. And I always say that success is really defined by the values of the time in which it's, being articulated. So, here we are in 2024 with these very stark environmental imperatives and considerations. We think differently now about industry than we did in 1995. We think differently maybe about open space and parks than we did then. We think differently about the value of a trail system like this. And I'll say the CRC really did lay the groundwork for what became the Empire State Trail. So I think the weight of this, it's, as we go into the bicentennial, it's not lost on me. I just think it's a really wonderful body of work. And it doesn't diverge, starkly from the original Recreationway plan, but just builds on that and brings all of these contemporary perspectives together. And I would expect that by 2050, there's going to be, more informed values and a CRC that's going to add more color to updates to the report. So I just think it's a really great body of work that represents this group that's stayed dedicated through a long period of time. So I just want to say congratulations to the CRC on this plan update. And then with that, I'll turn it over to Cal to tell you about, the path to publication and what remains there.
All right. Thank you so much, Rebecca, again, for your leadership and keeping us on track. I really grateful for all your work on this. And I agree, it's a natural evolution. It's not a break, right? So we soldier on, and it's great stuff. So what I'd like to do is, once we get this voted on today, and I'm based on your comments, I'm assuming that's going to go well. This plan will move from our hands to NYPA and Canal Corp Executive Management and Leadership. They'll take a look at it, and this is all in anticipation of releasing it to stakeholders and the public, and publishing it as part of the Erie Canal Bicentennial activities in 2025. So I'm hoping that early, maybe first quarter of 2025, this will pass through that process, and then we'll be able to share it with the greater world. What that exactly is going to look like, what the dates are, don't have those yet, but it will be early 2025 as part of the bicentennial activities.
Would you like to move?
Yeah.
To move to accept the report and send
Yes.
it to our trustees.
I'd be honored to make that motion. We'll need a second.
Second, Steve Iacetta.
All right. Any other discussion or comments? Okay, let's all vote then. All those in favor of adopting this plan, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? It's passed.
Yay.
Yay, we did it. Thank you. You guys are awesome. We did it. We move it on now into to NIPA and Canal Corp executive hands. So thank you, everyone.
This is the major milestone. If you weren't here in the beginning for the first Canal Recreationway plan, we have all made history today by adopting the first required update and on to 2050. And again, Cal, thank you for your leadership, commissioners, and our friends from the agency. Justine and Paul, thank you so much. Rebecca and Shane, Jackie, and all of our staff, thank you. Excellent. I think it goes before the first meeting of the NIPA Canal Corporation Board of Trustees in January. So we will keep you posted. We're going to move on now to operations update, and with us again once more live from our Syracuse office is our Canal Director of Waterways Management, Ambrose Barbuto. Ambrose, welcome, and we're looking forward to an update on our winter work.
Sure, thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, everyone. Next slide, please. One more. Okay, so a few updates here. So winter work is way underway. Our locks that we're working on this year in the east are C8, E2, E5, E14, and E17. And in the west, we've got O5, E28, CS1, E32, and E34, 35. The asterisk next to E34, 35 is because we just started that this week due to we keep water elevated in that section for the fishing program. So they're all well underway. We also will be planning some tours again this year because we know those are very popular. So that schedule should be coming out very soon. Some other work that we're doing, I mean, all our other locks have their normal maintenance occurring. Lock chiefs and operators work at every single lock all winter long, so that's ongoing. Also some contractor work that's going on right now. Just a few highlights. Guy Park Manor, that work continues there on that building. Eden Brook Reservoir, we're doing some tree removals on that dam. Schuyler Gate Repairs, that's a wastewater gate in the Utica area that's being worked on. The Royalton Cutoff Wall, that was a large project where we worked on the embankment there, and it's been very successful, and that work is just about wrapping up. Harrison Spillway in the Palmyra area is being worked on, and then the Albion and Brockport lift bridge work continues. That is supposed to be finished very soon. We're all keeping our fingers crossed on that one. Some innovation updates on the safety and inspection front. We continue to use drones quite a bit to help us in our work. And now we've started also using some robotic dogs, which is kind of new to us, but a very helpful tool. But along with some of those new innovations, we're also using real life dogs to help us on the embankments. We have one that's already been trained, and then two others that they basically can sniff out canal water in the leaks, and it's pretty amazing to watch them. So that's a great program that we continue to grow out. And also our water management system, we're developing a new program that will be completed next year, and it's just a better interface for us to have our weather and water management program all in one spot. So we're very excited about that. Next slide, please. So just some general updates. So back in September, we conducted our annual fall inspection. That was about a 4-week program where we went across the entire state, inspected all our locks and lift bridges and some other key structures. So I'd like to announce the results of those right now. We first announced these to our staff a couple weeks ago, but I'd like to make everyone aware. So overall best section was the Lions section. Most improved from last year was Fonda. Now on to our structures, most improved lock 16 in the Utica area. Our top lift bridge was Fairport. They did a very nice job this year. And then our top 3 locks, third place, lock CS4 in Waterloo.
I think this is a fraud or spam call on all of it.
Lock C9 in Champlain is number 2. And the overall first place lock was lock 03 in Fulton, New York. So they all did a great job. We saw a lot of improvement from last year. Last year was the first year in about 4 years that we did this program, because during COVID, unfortunately, we were not able to do it. So great job by everyone, and please announce those results. Fall maintenance meeting. That was a 2-day meeting we held in Geneva, New York, first week of December. A lot of great presentations, really highlighted a lot of the good work that our maintenance staff and others are doing. Just a great meeting, and look forward to that every year. New tugboats, just an update on that. We have 2 new tugboats coming in 2025. The first one, of course, expected is the Thomas Grasso. So excited for that. We hope to have that here in time for opening. So we're pushing for that. Also, obviously, the bicentennial next year. You know, we're going to be providing as much support as is needed. All looking forward to that. Some workforce updates. Right now, we're about a 10% vacancy. We added some new employees last year, as I think I've highlighted before. That's been working out very well, and we look to add a few more this coming winter. Also, our seasonal staffing is ongoing for the winter. And also a really good highlight, we just recently, I think I mentioned before, we're looking to expand our training program. We just recently added 2 training specialists. They started about 3 weeks ago. So very excited for that, to build out our training program for all our employees to go along with our new title structure that we're working on. So those are just some general updates. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Ambrose on our winter updates and all of the accomplishments?
So Ambrose, from the lift bridges here in Orleans County and Monroe County, they've hit the news media, and we're expected to open, like you said, the end of December. So we got our fingers crossed. So it's everybody.
We've had some issues, I think, Ken, that are out of our immediate control, but we're, going with the flow and hoping for the best, right, Ambrose?
Right.
Yes, I appreciate that. We've had a lot of conversation on these bridges. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Just a comment on that photo that we're looking at. I usually pride myself that I know where every place is on the canal if you've been around long enough, but I'm struggling with this one. Where is this? Waterford.
Dave Peckinpah, right?
That is the Dave Peckinpah. I was trying to orient myself to that, and for some reason, the landmarks that I see in the photo were not immediately familiar, but there she is, the Dave Peckinpah, and that is the Ralph Wilson Bridge that is going through on its way headed west, right?
Headed west, yeah.
Excellent.
Right where it started out.
Excellent photo. Any other questions for Ambrose or comments on our winter maintenance program? We'll be getting underway with tours, pump out tours later when we get a little bit warmer, maybe towards March, and we'll keep everyone updated on it.
Excellent. This is Ken DeRoller again. Just quickly, want to thank you, the Canal Corp and NYPA, for keeping the water on Reimagine the Canal here for fishing. We've got some outstanding numbers that I'll share with you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll look forward to that, and as we move on to our next item, after Ambrose is done and we have comments, questions wrapped up under new business, other business. So we'll get to that. My congratulations to all of our winners of the the top locks and the top lift bridges, the ones that are vying for most improved, number 2, number 3. I remember when we used to do that, one of my favorite points. And I think most of them have got flags and plaques that they are displaying and flying there.
Yep, we're gonna get
So-
those out to them soon.
We'll be going out to Fairport. We're headed west. That's why we're stopping along the way today in Syracuse. So we will see our number 1 lift bridge, the Fairport lift bridge, lit up for the holidays tonight. Thank you, Cal, for your wonderful and enthusiasm. You're supposed to be impartial, but we know that your heart is always in Fairport. Okay, and if there are not any other questions for Ambrose, we'll move on. Ambrose, thank you very much. That was wonderful. Number 7 is new business or other business that may come before the commission. And I'll go back to Commissioner Ken Roller. You have some comments on the fall fishing program.
Yes, thank you. Our tourism dollars are really enhanced in percentage of impact of those dollars in our communities because of the length and time that you keep water, and it feeds our tributaries for fishing. So I've got some great data to share with you, and I'll pass it on, and Kim, so we can share it with the CRCs and others. So appreciate all the hard work and vision on that program.
Excellent. Well, we're happy to have that, and happy to know that the fishing is going well, and that even as we work toward the colder part of the winter and the holiday season, it's going to be a whole new experience, and just another few weeks along the canal. Any other new business or general business to come?
Brian, I just,
Now, yes.
Go ahead, Michelle.
no, it was B.
Oh, B, I'm sorry.
Trustee, I
That's
didn't-
okay. I just wanted to let the commission know that the NIPA Canals Board of Trustees will be meeting in Niagara on September 23rd. So we will be totally engaged and a part of the World Canals Conference.
That's awesome.
That's a wonderful thing. This will be the second time in 2 years that we've actually brought the entire NIPA Board of Trustees to the canal, on the canal. And of course, that's a very big deal because it's the World Canals Conference, and we're going to have a lot of opportunity in addition to the important business fee that you have to undertake on that Tuesday. We'll get you back down to Canal Side and the waterfront on Wednesday to see the launch of the Seneca Chief and its cross-state journey, leading the World Canals Conference. So I know the chairman's looking forward to that, and all of the trustees are, and we look forward to helping plan. And I see Cal's got her hand back up. Yes,
So-
Cal.
2 quick items, and it's about the World Canals Conference. I know that the website, of course, is up. We talked about that at our last meeting. Registration is now open for the World Canals Conference, and presentations are still being accepted. So if you know anyone that would like to present, either as a panel or as a single presenter, please check the website out, and all the information is there. But both of those things are happening as we speak.
Important because you've got just over 3 weeks, because the deadline, I think, for submission for papers for presentation at the World Canals Conference is January 15th. So a lot of busy holiday time, but please make sure that we remind you that if you would like to present or have an idea to submit for presentation, please get that in. And early bird registration is still open. You can save money and register and look forward all year long to the World Canals Conference coming in September. Thank you, Cal, for that update. We do have another meeting of the steering committee coming up in January, and hope to have more exciting announcements as we make our way into 2025 and really begin to set the lineup for the World Canals Conference. Okay, thank you so much. We're gonna, thank you, Ambrose, new business, other business, any important dates coming up? I think, Trustee Gonzalez mentioned the September meeting, but of course, the NIPA and Canal Corporation Board of Trustees will convene again in January from White Plains, and we'll certainly have items there that we will monitor. Rebecca, is there anything that I have missed that you'd like me to hit on, or you would like to hit?
I don't think so.
All right, members of the public or agency representatives, or regional planning executives, anyone want to chime in before we entertain a motion to adjourn? All right. Well, thank you for another, Laura, welcome. We see you there. Thank you very much for being here with us today. And Laura DeBetta from DEC, and there's Ross Levi from I Love New York. And Fred is back from Parks. Thanks, Fred. And I don't see Paul Byer, but Paul was going to be with us, and Sarah is here also with us from I Love New York. So thank you all, folks, and our agency team. Thank you much more. I want to wish everyone a very, very happy holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and may you be safe, and may you be well rested before we start 2025. We have a motion to adjourn. Moved by Commissioner DeRoller.
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Patorti. All in favor say aye. All right, thanks to everyone in the Syracuse office for hosting us. Becky, thank you so much today. Jackie Schillinger, Ambrose, and all of our Syracuse team. Thank you. Have a great holiday, everybody, and we will see you in 2025. Thank you, Kim Orapello.
Thank you.
Happy holidays,
everybody.
everyone.